Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Today, I want to know, is your nonprofit stuck in a cycle of outdated or infrequent strategic planning? Maybe you have that strategic plan on a shelf. Maybe strategic planning is that thing that you keep saying you're going to do, but you don't. I'm Sarah Olivieri, and today we're going to explore the old models of strategic planning and what you can do instead to help your organization thrive. For those of you who don't know me, I have over 2 decades of experience working in and for and coaching and supporting nonprofits. I've been a founder. I've been a founder. I've been an executive director multiple times. I've been the executive director of a foundation. I have been a board member multiple times in multiple roles. And I have coached, trained, and consulted with hundreds of nonprofits. If we consider training, probably in the thousands. All right, let's talk about strategic planning. It's that time of year. For many of you, you're thinking about your strategic plan, or maybe it's that thing that you're always like needing to do, but never quite get there. So, the traditional model of strategic planning is you get your board all together. Maybe you hire a consultant to be your strategic planner, and you go through this process of researching your organization and your constituents and your community, and you write up a big plan. And then the plan is supposed to cover, they used to do 10-year plans. Now, then they did 5-year plans. Now it's more common to see 3-year plans, or you might see a 1-year plan even. And then the plan gets given to the staff, and people are like, go. And maybe they go, maybe they don't. Sometimes the consultant, if you hire a consultant, will stick around and help you create what they call an implementation plan. That's the plan, that's how to achieve the goals in that strategic plan. Here are the risks with that model, especially when we're looking at multi-year plans. Oftentimes, what we thought was a great goal and clearly written, and everyone's like, yes, that's what we want. Once we start working on it, we learn a lot of stuff, and we learn that we need to modify that goal. So, if we don't have a process with our strategic planning to also modify our goals, our plans can become kind of broken pretty easily. And that's one of the common places where that plan goes on the shelf because it doesn't really make sense anymore. Also, sometimes the world changes, our circumstances change. And maybe I had a client who recently got a huge opportunity and they needed to adjust their plan to take advantage of that opportunity. All right. So if we don't have frequent enough planning, or better yet, a way to modify our goals, then we get outdated, ineffective. So what is the other problem with the old model of strategic planning? Well, Some goals, it makes sense to set, like if you replace, my parents are replacing their roof right now. I just saw it this morning. They're putting on a roof that is guaranteed for 50 years. We can go ahead and set a 50-year goal to replace the roof, right? It's pretty predictable. That's what's if it needs to be happen sooner, it's going to be covered by the warranty. So that goal has a natural timeline of 50 years. Other goals have very short timeline. Like let's say we're responding to an emergency. Right now there are wildfires burning near me and the goals are really, hour by hour, day by day percentage of wildfire containment, right? So those are very short term goals. Every goal has its own natural timeline. If we try to crunch all the goals into a year or a 3 year, that doesn't really fit with reality. So we need a way to update our goals regularly as needed. And we need a way to have a plan that honors the true timeline and respects that different goals have different timelines. All right. How do we do all this? Because I have spent a lot of time thinking through this problem. And I have created the impact method, which includes a strategic planning framework that solves a few of these things. And I'm going to teach you the high level pieces that we do right now for free in like 2 more minutes. Okay. So, what do we do? One is we have an iterative strategic planning process that actually occurs on a regular basis every 2 months, and then additionally as needed. So, like, if all of a sudden there was a huge crisis or something changed, we could start planning again at any time. And then inside the plan, because the plan is iterative, it's not a 1 year plan, it's not a 3 year plan, right? The goals in there, some of them are short term and some of them are more long term. So let's talk about the benefits of this model. One is the staff begins to own the plan and modify. It doesn't really make sense actually for the board to own strategic planning. We can get into that another day. But if you ask strategic planning consultants, you will find that when they work with organizations, they get most of the good information from the staff to begin with, who know most of the information. If the staff need to do additional research to understand what their constituents and the communities they serve need, they can build that in as an ongoing part of how their organization operates. Because actually, you need to do that in order to be really good at delivering your mission. So, back to how we do this in the impact method. So, we have a meeting every 2 months with this leadership on the staff, and we have this standing agenda that we go through every time where we check on, it's kind of like a quick overview of checking on what's gone well, what's going on in the organization. Then we go in and we update our goals. Maybe we add in some new ones. Maybe we changed one we were working on. We note the ones we finished. And then we plan out the action plan for the next 60 days or 2 months. And we have another process I won't go into today about how to make sure that that action plan really stays on track and gets done. But basically, we have an action plan or an implementation plan that is 2 months long. And then in 2 months, we come back, we see what we got done, lessons learned, new things that have appeared as we get closer to the future horizon, and we adjust our plan again. I will tell you when organizations first start doing this, after they've done it the third time, so 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, so that's 6 months in, they start to have a really solid plan. After they've done it 6 times, that year has gone by, and they have learned so much about planning. There's another really big benefit that happens when we do this frequency of planning. There is a phase in traditional strategic planning called planning to plan, where everybody has to basically like learn how the planning process works so that they can do it. And they have to schedule the planning process in. When we do planning regularly in these 2 month intervals, everybody learns and once or twice, maybe it takes 3 times to learn the process. And then everybody pretty much just knows it. So we eliminate the planning to plan phase and everyone learns the process of planning. Bonus, your entire leadership team levels up their strategic thinking skills. That's all I have time for today. But if you would like to learn this whole process much more in depth, that's one of the many things we do in the Thrive program, where I support executive directors and CEOs of nonprofits. If you're interested in learning more, want to see if it might be a good fit for you, you can go to pivotground.com/application. Fill out a short application. I review them manually. I will get back to you after I've had a chance to look through your answers and do a little research on your organization. And then we'll have a call from there. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take some time for learning. Take that time to do a little bit of strategic thinking and goal setting. It's so, so good for your organization. And that's all I have for you now.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.